Welcome to the live lesson. Pretty much, this is the on location dated July 9th, 2025, the whole year of our deliverance and destruction and judgment of Esau. What you see behind us, pretty much, Bass Pro building. And if you notice, the Bass Pro building, which wasn't a Bass Pro building at first, but it's in the shape of a pyramid. So we got a little info we're going to bring out, dealing with the history, some history, brief history of Memphis, how it got its name, so on and so forth. And a couple of other little points that came out to also further prove to you that America is the new or the modern Egypt. All right? So we can start off with that. Yeah, that's the one. Yeah, that's the one with the. Whatever y'all got, precepts, bring it in. So you got it.
Yeah, this is a commercial appeal. It said the pyramid in Memphis. Photos through the years from Tiger basketball to Bass Pro.
Because there used to be a basketball league.
Right. Yeah.
They
said,
the
Tigers in the grid.
Right, but they said that it exceeded like 20,000 people or something like that.
Yeah. It said the skeleton of the Great American Pyramid is reflected in a pool of standing water left over from the Memphis area rain on May the 22nd, 1990. With little groundwork going on, progress continued in the structure, steel and concrete work despite climate weather.
So you know what? There's another. Yeah. There was the first one, the Andrew Jackson. Yeah, that's the same one that he's reading right now. There's another one. There's another one I sent you. Yeah, that's it.
I said this is a brief history of the IEAA. And it says the city of Memphis, Tennessee, USA has always had a special connection to its ancient namesake, Memphis, Egypt.
Right, because the name Memphis goes back to Egypt, ancient Egypt. This is the modern Egypt. And this is why the man, Elon Musk, is here. And pretty much this will be like, I guess you could say for lack of better words, it would be like the capital of the New World Order.
That's it.
Because you said, Elon Musk made that statement. You agree with that?
Yeah. He made the statement that Memphis is where the new God is going to come out of.
Yeah.
And he was referring to ancient Egypt and how Memphis and how it correlates to modern Egypt. And he was perfect. He laughed. He was speaking with Jordan Peterson. He said, that's probably where our new God is going to be at. And Jordan Peterson, he said, I wish that was funny.
Right.
He said, I wish that was funny because the elite are serious. When they built this city, and they named the city, it was done through left-hand means. The Masons, so-called illuminated ones, they deal with astrology, they deal with landmarks, they deal with astrology. And this was the perfect place to call, which was the capital of ancient Egypt. This was the perfect place.
That's why he said that AI is going to be our new God. Because now they said nothing. They said it's computers on the technology or to bring in the empire in, which is going to be known as the New World Order.
Yeah.
And we need the water supply. Because cool down the computer system, because it takes about 2 million gallons per day to keep that system cool. And Memphis also has an underground natural water source. The aquifer. So he's draining the water supply to feed that computer. That's why he set it down across the Nile. The canal is set right on the bank of the river. But they're not using the river supply. Right. They're using the natural, the good water. They're not using the water from the river. They're using the water from underground.
natural water supply. Yep.
Hey, because the scriptures say that the Lord got to, He's going to destroy these devils for destroying the earth.
Fine.
And they got to do it. The earth has been given into their management, and they have not done a good job. All right? So let's read on. Unless I got something else.
Revelation 11. We can finish the article.
Yeah, done.
I got an article too, but
I'll read on Revelation 11 and 8 real quick.
fine. And I got a
Revelation 11 and 8. And their dead bodies shall lie in the street of the great city,
right.
which spiritually is called Sodom and Egypt.
Right. It says spiritually, it says low. I say it sound kind of low on concentrated.
Okay, we probably got to get a little closer.
Yeah, come on, closer.
Get a little closer.
Read it again.
Yep. Revelation 11 and 8. And their dead bodies shall lie in the street of the great city.
Yeah, and that dead body represents a dead state of mind. Not a physical dead body. It's mental. He that wonder out the way of understanding shall remain in what? In the congregation of the dead. So those dead body represent Jake without what? Knowledge, wisdom, understanding.
Yeah, let us know if y'all can hear a little better.
Right, turn it over. It says, which spiritually is called Sodom and Egypt.
Yeah. And then when you look up the word Egypt, it goes back to ancient Egypt. Because there's no other place on the planet that was known as Egypt. Those are the Egypt or the ancient Egyptians. Which you had the pharaohs. You had a lot of like mystery religions growing out of those areas. And this is why Esau taps into that energy, because that's the energy that he revolves on. That's the energy he's connected to. Because they're not connected to the Most High as far as being spiritual. They're connected to the left-hand side of the tree, which is, total wickedness. And that's what they thrive on. So this is why they'll look to ancient, ruins or ancient empires and gods for inspiration.
Yeah, power.
For power, yeah.
Inspiration. They're conjuring those old ancient gods.
Yeah.
That old ancient Memphis spirit, they're conjuring that spirit here. This is why they have the pyramid right there by the Mississippi. With the Mississippi is supposed to mirror the Nile.
Right.
So everything Esau does, he does it for a reason. He searches out everything. Just like how Washington D.C. was built. It's all built with numbers and astronomy and the pentagram.
The owl, the early you see the image of the owl from the top.
Another thing they do is they set up their building structures according to constellations of heaven. And so that they can align, like the saying, as above, so below. So this is why they do that, because they're trying to tap into that energy. They understand about something called ley lines. Ley lines are hot spots pretty much on the planet where a lot of angelic or divine activity happens. Like the case with Jacob, what they call Jacob's ladder. There's different spots on the planet that have that energy. But you could use the energy for righteousness, or you could use it for wickedness.
That's why that grove that we're doing the sacrifices in.
Bohemian Grove.
The Bohemian Grove. I got a real quick. It's Ecclesiastes.
So, the bottom line is America is modern day Egypt.
Right. This is true.
And again, going back to Elon Musk expressed that this is the revitalized of the ancient Egypt system.
See how he was laughing? That was a wicked laugh.
Because they know he's a small hat and they know what the plans are. But read that and then I'm gonna hit this.
Okay, this is Ecclesiastes 1 and 9. The thing that have been, it is that which shall be. And that which is done is that which shall be done. And there is no new thing under the sun.
Yeah, so pretty much the people that are here today have been here many times.
Right.
It's the same shit done over.
Yeah.
The people that were here during the flood, they're here again.
Right.
The people that were here that were ridiculing and mocking Yahushua, they're back here again. And this time is for serious judgment. Is that it?
This is
Okay, I just got something real quick.
fine, possible.
Like in the back of it, you have the American dollar bill. I mean, I'm sure the majority of you out there should know about the American dollar bill. It's known as the Egyptian pyramid on the back of a $1 bill.
Fine.
And on top of that, it's they have Latin writing
Fine.
within the dollar bill.
Yeah.
They're telling you something.
Novus Ordo Seclorum,
That's it.
which is a New World Order.
There you go.
And then Annuit Coeptus.
Yep.
Uh,
Which means, it pretty much means that
He
our
favors-
enterprise, he favors our enterprise.
He favors our
Or our
enterprise.
enterprise has been crowned with success.
And then in another one it says he favors our undertakings.
Our undertaking, that's it.
Right.
Because they're doing it underhanded.
Underhanded.
But
Yep.
that's why scripture speak about what the King David said, deliver me, how does that go? Psalm 64.
The secret counsel of the
The
wicked.
secret counsel of the wicked,
Yep.
which we could get that. Matter of fact, somebody get that.
Right.
And that's the secret counsel of the wicked, which is what they call the Illuminati.
Fine.
And then when you use that word, it's been ridiculed and laughed at, but these are actual things that these devils do.
Fine.
And they bank on the stupidity of the average person to not accept it and laugh at the thought of a behind the scene conspiracy of powerful men that are controlling everything behind the scenes.
Yeah.
They make people laugh at stuff like that.
Yeah.
But that shit is true.
Yeah. They truth and jest.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. Like they try to make jest out of the truth.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep. Psalm 64 and 1. Hear my voice, O power, in my prayer. Preserve my life from the fear of the enemy.
Uh-huh.
Hide me from the secret counsel of the wicked.
There you go, hide me from the secret counsel of the wicked. So they have an undertaking, which goes into their agenda, which goes into their enterprise.
Yep.
And when they said that their enterprise has been crowned with success, that means that all steam is going full ahead, or however that
Full
saying
steam
goes.
ahead.
Full steam ahead. And that's exactly what these devils want. So they pretty much got it off the ground.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
It's on, it's up.
Oh, yeah.
It's up and running. Within the last 5 years, they've accomplished major strides in the New World Order.
Well, warp speed.
Yep.
You know, you can see within the last 5 years how everything has sped up. Even them wanting to go into Iran, that has manifested, and it's only going to reveal even more. They're going to move even quicker towards their agenda, and as they move quicker to their agenda, they're going to be exposed a lot. It's going to be made more plain. You know that they're going to like for example, these things are now being recognized as to be true.
Right.
You know, oh man, why is there a pyramid on the back of the dollar bill?
Yeah.
Right.
Why do they have pyramids? Why? And then Elon Musk came out again, going back to Elon Musk, what he said, this is where our new God is going to be.
Yeah.
You know, Memphis,
Yeah.
the capital of Egypt.
Yeah.
Okay, so this is the mind of the elites. They're basically telling you openly, what is it, the revelation of the method.
Yeah.
You know?
Bag possible. I'm lava. This is what spiritual for what? Spiritual Egypt.
Yeah. Yeah, that's
Egypt go to what? Bondage.
Yeah.
Right.
Well, the word Egypt itself, the name, right? The name doesn't mean bondage, but the idea of bondage took place in Egypt.
So that's why I said the house of bondage.
That's it. Yep. But they call it the iron furnace.
Yeah.
You know, so the actual name is Mizraim or
That's
Mizraim.
right. Yeah.
You know, which they have different interpretations of what it means. Some say it means embedded by the sea. Others you can tie it to actual slavery. You know, but I would have to go back over there to look it back up. I haven't looked it up in a while.
Yep. It says, hide me from the secret counsel of the wicked, from the insurrection of the workers of iniquity.
Which y'all did no, you got it.
I was gonna say who is the wicked? Esau, Edom.
Go.
You know, and just quick note to the point, Memphis actually was named by the Greeks. It wasn't Memphis at first. It was it goes back to the Greek word Menifer, I think Menifer, but the Greeks called it Memphis. Yeah, it was Menifer. Then they called it Memphis.
Yeah, because they did a lot of things that they did. They named them Greek names so they could pronounce it.
So they can pronounce it, but they couldn't pronounce it, so they named it. They called it Memphis.
Yep, going back to Alexander, Egypt. The Ptolemies was ruling in Alexander, Egypt.
That's right.
Yep, the Greeks.
Yeah, and they set themselves up as pharaohs.
Yep.
You know, Esau had like a very deep passion for the Egyptian culture.
Yep.
And power.
In power because they worship the dead.
Yep.
And they were high level in witchcraft.
Yep.
You know, that was one place where it was like a hotbed of witchcraft. You know, you had those magi back then that were, you know, they could, like going back to Moses, they were able to turn their staffs into snakes,
Yep.
serpents.
Yep.
So they had certain powers. They were able, I believe, even to create frogs. There were certain
Yeah, Magi.
yeah, magi. They had certain magi that were able to do those things. You know.
Yep, Janus and Jambres.
Yep.
Yeah, speaking of Pharaoh,
Mhm.
we're not sure what area of the building it is,
Yeah.
but they used to have, and you can bring it up, somebody
The
put that,
image.
the image that I sent y'all.
Yep.
They had an image of a replica of Ramesses II, which they call Ramesses the Great.
Yeah.
All right, right with this pyramid.
Yep.
But then this right here was built in 1991,
Mm-hmm. Got it.
and the pyramid was placed there. I forgot the actual year it was placed there.
The statue.
Yeah, the statue. But it was removed. Okay, it said the replica statue was put in place at the pyramid June 5th, 1991. So it was a statue that was placed in 1991 and moved to Memphis campus on April 23rd, 2012.
2012.
So that actually, that's why I wanted to come here to show a picture.
Of the pyramid with the statue.
Right,
Yeah, it's
but
right there.
they didn't have, they removed
They
it.
removed it. Yep.
But it's not, it's maybe like 10 miles away from here.
Yep. The
You know?
Lord will. We go
Yeah,
by
those
there.
will hit it, boom, boom, show you.
Yep.
Or you can look it up.
Yep.
And it's probably some occultic meaning behind them bringing it 10 miles away, you know?
Yeah, yeah.
Because they deal with numerology.
Yeah.
You know, they deal with because you got something like that has a lot of spiritual energy to it, left-hand spiritual energy to it. So those things are powerful. That's why they enact those pyramids and those frescoes and, you know, those statues.
Yep.
Because they're like hotbeds of energy.
Yep.
Okay, well, they even throughout the United States, they have what? Those Baphomet statues
Yep.
everywhere.
Yep.
Yep. You can say that's exactly where we at.
Call it
You know.
the folly.
The follies, the obelisks.
Yep.
You find those all over the place, all in the churches,
Yep.
on DC,
Yep.
you know.
Just off the highway randomly. Just,
Yep.
Yep.
Great market.
Yeah. Those are all hotbeds of
Yep.
wicked energy that they try to conjure and try to manipulate.
Well, it's memorials.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The scriptures talk about the memorial of the wicked.
Yep.
Yep. So they have these different statues and landmarks as memorials.
Yeah.
So, like you said, they honor the dead.
Yeah.
You know, they honor the dead.
Right, and speaking of the dead, right, I was looking up some information because I heard this before. I never looked it up, but I heard that the Egyptians either prayed or did something to the North Star for military power. But they said that's not the case.
Okay.
Said, but what they did was the pyramids, they would align the pyramids with the North Star because they believed that the dead would go to the North Star. So they would have the light of the North Star shining into the pyramid to make an easy transition for the Pharaoh spirit leader. See? So, and that's what this is about. Because I asked the brother if that tablet that lights up at
Yeah,
night.
it does.
See?
Yeah.
So
And even when this place is inactive, that light, yeah.
It was
People
still
used
on?
to say that it was Masons in there doing shit.
they probably
You
were.
know, because it was like, why is inactive all these years, but that light still be flashing in there?
And you can see the pyramid on the top. It has an all see. You can see.
Yep.
The city council.
It's light, and that's the light of Lucifer. Lucifer is not the spiritual demon Satan. Lucifer are the illuminated ones, the international bankers of this world.
That's it.
All right, you can see it there. And then within that top of the pyramid and that light, you'll have the all-seeing eye, which is the eye, pretty much the eye of Satan.
I got a quick piece of information. This is from the AI overview of what year was the was Ramsey statue placed in front of the pyramid. It says a bronze statue of Ramsey the Great was placed in front of the Memphis pyramid in 1991. The statue is a fiberglass reproduction weighing 5,000 pounds and standing 25 feet tall. It was copied with the permission of the Egyptian government.
Right.
They had to go to the Egyptian government to get permission to even copy. You know. So I just wanted to bring that out. And then I got an article too.
Is that the one with
About Andrew Jackson?
Yeah.
Yep.
Okay, bring that. That's what
Okay.
we want there.
So this is from
Just to show you that, just like Washington D.C., they chose that and they set it up just like Egypt, just like Rome. You know, and these places like this around America, which are hotspots, they set them up like that on purpose to venerate ancient gods, to venerate ancient, ancient so-called great civilizations of the past and their mystery religions.
Conjure those energies up.
Yeah.
Like you got witches that want to, have spirits take over them.
Yeah.
You know, and they use certain talismans and certain objects and stuff like that to be able to conjure that energy. The same thing here. You know, why do you think there's such a deaf spirit out here in Memphis?
Yeah,
Niggas shooting each other all the time.
Yeah,
you know, worshiping of the dead.
Yeah, because we
Egyptian
going
Book
to
of the Dead.
Ramesses, and when he was about, that same vibration is heavy in Memphis. Heavy in Memphis. Entertainment, he was a good warrior. That's really what he was praised for, being a good warrior.
Right here it says Ramses II the Great, known for his long reign, extensive building, and military prowess.
Yeah, because he reigned for 66 years. And he was the first one ever to bring in what's called like a peace treaty.
Peace treaty.
Yep. He was the first one ever to bring a peace treaty to Egypt. Yep. Yeah, he was the first one. But he's known for his work, his reign, his military.
Well, that's what the New World Order is about. So-called bringing world peace.
Yeah.
It's not what they call peace through strength.
Yeah.
With his cold word, we just gonna bomb the hell out of you and take you down through the force of the sword. That's how we're gonna bring our peace.
But let's bag up. But what they bag up, Genesis, the 41 chapter. They say how he's gonna live by the sword.
Yeah.
So he was given the families of the earth and the rule of heaven. But it said he was gonna live by this sword. He was gonna go through that conquering with that sword.
Yeah, if you want, we can transition over here.
Whatever you want to do. Give y'all that peace. I'm cool.
Yeah, I was cool, but I'm just saying.
I'm cool.
We just back it up a little bit.
Yeah, we cool. We get the backdrop there.
All right.
All right, so this the article, and it's from mywanderlustylife.com.
Damn.
All right. And it was last updated May 7, 2025, right? So it says Memphis, Tennessee and Memphis, Egypt, a collection of connections. It says, why is Memphis, Tennessee named after Memphis, Egypt? It says, so yes, Memphis, Egypt was one of the oldest and most important cities in ancient Egypt. It was located right on the Nile River near the Giza Plateau. Hey, Memphis, Tennessee is on a river too. Well, look at that. Back in the 3000s BC, the ancient Egyptian city went by the name of Menepha, the enduring and beautiful. That's what it meant. This eventually became
Big and the beautiful.
yeah. Yeah.
Home of the brave and something beautiful.
Yeah.
Shit like
It's
that.
really the home of the slaves.
Yeah.
And speaking of slaves, Jill Scott, I think she in hot order for singing the national anthem.
Yeah, the right one.
I gotta go back and
Okay, I didn't see it, but I heard something like that.
Yeah, she sung the original national anthem.
woo.
Yeah, she did get some pushback behind that.
Hey,
Yep. She
Very
told the
young
truth.
woman.
She told the truth.
that's it.
Yep,
We're in the time of revealing.
that's it. It says this eventually became Memphis thanks to the Greeks and their inclination towards interpretation, going to how they changed the name, how Memphis actually came about, the name Memphis. Yep. About a gazillion years later, John Overton, James Winchester, and the future president of the United States, Andrew Jackson.
Well, you got the Winchester Ave, right?
Yeah, Winchester Avenue. That's named after him. And then you got Overton Park.
That's why I had this whole policy yesterday.
Yep.
Winchester was like one of the longest streets in Memphis.
Yep. It goes stretch from one end to the other.
Uh-huh.
Yep. One in what? East to west.
Yeah, east to west.
East to west.
Long, and then you got Overton, like you said, Overton Park.
Overton
and
Park.
Also, you got Overton High School.
Yep.
Named after him.
Yep. And you got Raleigh Egypt High School.
Yep, that's it.
It says Andrew Jackson seized the opportunity to one-up the founders of the newly formed Cairo, Illinois. True story. They named their new city Memphis in hopes of it one day being the seat of great kings like its river-adjacent namesake.
And and that's why this guy, Elon
Elon
Musk, said that the new God could come out of him.
Yep.
Because this is what this is the way for the future.
Yep.
This digital AI, people think, back in the day we quote movies. You had Total Recall and other different movies that had Demolition Man had driverless cars, and people ridiculed us. Oh, you guys don't talk about movies. That's just entertainment.
Right.
But all that shit is happening now.
See it.
That's all the predictive programming. So even this is all predictive programming. They set this all up in hopes to move forward with that agenda.
That's it.
And they set these landmarks up, these monuments, to be basically the objects of their NWO.
Yep.
We're going to bring this in on like the Georgia Guidestone.
Monuments.
The monuments of their NWO. This is a success. Look what we have done. We've moved forward with our agenda, and these were monuments to show you that we have completed it.
Yep. Which he knows about that because that's a part of our culture. Just like he was talking about Jacob's ladder, and even when Jacob's name was changed to Israel, he set up a place of remembrance. Abraham set up places of remembrance, landmarks and monuments. They take stones and let this be a place of remembrance and monuments because it is energy. Because you get there, you remember covenants, and you remember councils, and you remember contracts or whatever that was set up.
And then demons, help guide and navigate you, in your adventure.
Yep.
But the thing is that your adventures are to your demise, to your destruction.
That's it.
And so you tapping into all them ancient demons that are still around.
Yep.
They show you in movies that them demons still around.
Yep.
And the story's always the same. The bad guy always loses.
The bad guy always loses.
The good guy always wins.
That's it.
The good guy all throughout the movie gets his ass kicked, but at the end he comes up. The winner.
Good always triumphs.
Yep. Good always wins.
And I got one quick little piece left, right? It says, I'm gonna read this part again. It says, they named their new city Memphis in hopes of it one day being the seat of great kings, like its river-adjacent namesake. And technically, it was. Like an Elvis Presley candle, what they call him, the king of rock and roll, right?
Yeah.
Put on some BB. Prophecy
King.
fulfilled.
BB King.
BB King, right? So another thing too is that the music plays a part in controlling the spirit.
Right.
Yep. Music plays a part in controlling the spirit.
Sound wave.
Yep. Yep.
I got some real good
Even on the rap shit.
Same the vibration.
3-6 Mafia are known as who? The Kings of Memphis. And remember when they
and let the kings come.
and remember when they came, they got that Oscar for that damn movie and that song and shit.
Well, the Oscar goes back to time.
Yep.
The Egyptian god.
The Egyptian god.
I
Yep.
got something for you real quick.
Come, you
Because
got
you
it.
mentioned the music.
Yep.
Isaiah 14:11. Thy pomp is brought down to the grave, and the noise of thy vials. The worm is spread under thee, and the worms cover thee. Because pretty much the Lord ain't with that bullshit that you're pushing out there.
Nah.
Because music gives a certain vibration.
That's it.
And it doesn't necessarily have to be in the lyrics. It could be in the tone of the drums.
Yep. The
You know?
hurts and
Yeah, the different things that they put out there. Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, because they know that alters the mind.
Yep.
That alters the body. That alters your mood.
That's it.
They show you that and they clone
They call
Tyrone.
Tyrone. Yep.
know?
And your body is mostly water, so
Right.
your body responds to frequencies.
Right.
Yep.
Like that one dude that was playing certain frequencies with water, and then sometimes be
The water
ugly,
was
but then
yeah.
sometimes be a beautiful,
Yep.
a beautiful image.
Yep.
they'll show you, man, music is spiritual.
It is.
Hey, that's
Yep. So no, go ahead.
no, go ahead.
No, I was going to say there was an experiment Esau did where he took 2 plants
Yeah.
and he played like death metal to one plant, and the plant started dying, and then he played like, I want to say either was jazz or classical,
Yeah.
and to the other one, and it started to live, it started
Yeah.
to prosper.
Yeah.
You know, so just show you that the music holds vibration.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
And this is all part of their plan. This is why what they do there. They come in there, they take over the money supply. They take over all forms of newspaper and media outlets. They take over the radio. They take over the music. They take over the television to control what everyone thinks and how they feel.
Keep you entertained.
Mind
Right.
control.
Because they're conditioning you. That's why it's called channels.
Yep, channels.
Channel. They
Yep.
just what it's called programming.
Yep.
Programming. You know, because they're programming the minds of the people to how they want it for the future.
broadcasting.
Broadcasting, yeah.
You know.
Media.
Yep.
Medium.
Yep.
Which is the medium was the witch.
Yep.
That would
Back
be
to
that
a
would be
demon.
the between the person and the spirit.
Yep. Yep. That's why that thing with Tyler Perry prospered so well.
Yep.
Medea goes back to media. Yep. Yep.
A demon.
A demon. Yep.
You know, actual spirit.
Yep.
They channeled that spirit,
Yep.
that cross-dressing spirit.
Yep.
You know, and put some laughs in it. That was to get Jake more accustomed to being seeing that. That transgender type shit.
Yep.
You know, it was all set up. That's why the Small had backed Tyler Perry.
They did.
You know, and setting all that up.
Yep.
You gotta remember, he got that from all these entertainers.
Martin.
Martin was
Jamie Foxx.
Yeah, Jamie Foxx.
Yep.
Yep.
Yeah, the Marlon brothers.
Yep.
Wayne, brother.
Wayne, yeah,
White
the
chick.
Wayne. Yep.
Yep.
Yeah, white chick. That
Yeah.
shit.
He make it to his company, but Jake ain't looking at the vibration is pushing.
Yeah.
Well, it's to disarm you.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, it's to disarm you so you don't really look at the truth of the matter as being an abomination.
Right.
You
Just
know?
because you're getting a laugh out of
Yeah.
it.
Yeah.
We all watch Martin growing up.
Yeah. That's why scripture say a wise man does scarcely smile. You know, but it's easy to disarm people with jokes.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah, let your guard down.
Yep.
You know, like you trying to get with a woman and talk to her.
Make her laugh.
Make her laugh.
Yeah.
She could be irritated, don't want to talk to you,
Yeah.
maybe even think you're ugly, but you make her laugh, boom, you can see her
Countless change.
and she opens up.
Right.
You know what I mean? She opens up, flip her hair.
melts.
You know, she starts melting. Because now her guard is down. Now you can go in, you can say whatever you want to get, you know?
Yep.
You know?
Honorable.
Now you can penetrate.
That's it. And that's Esau, he studies that. He studies sociology,
That's it.
psychology.
That's it.
You know, he studies how people interact with each other, the different cues. He studies vibrations and aromatherapy, how does scent,
Yep.
how does color therapy.
Yep.
He studies all this.
Control energy.
Yeah, to control you, to kind of move. It's not forcing you, but it's kind of hoarding you into a particular mindset that he wants you to go
Yeah.
with.
Well, that's why they'll have like groups of rats that they test them and they'll put them in a real toxic environment.
Yep.
And the rats get sick and
Yep.
messed up. Then they put them in the same ones in a thriving environment
Yep.
and they get better.
Right.
They act better, you know. And these devils know that. It's a game with these devils.
Yep. That's called.
Yeah, I was just for the folk song because I had this precept
No,
on.
you got it, bro.
But it's just like the scripture say, the righteous is more excellent than the neighbor.
Yeah.
But the wicked,
The ways of the wicked
It's
seduce
seducing.
them. Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
like we just mentioned about the music industry, and
Yeah.
going to the entertainment industry, all that seduces our people.
Yeah, because it's something that's why you have many different songs, right? That are good songs, but they'll play the same
They'll
song
play the
over and
same.
over.
Yep.
The radio
Because it's-
station.
Yeah, it's a certain
Same
vibration. Certain vibration that they're trying to put out there.
Hypnosis.
Yeah.
It's all a form of hypnosis and mind control.
Yep.
It's the program. That's why, going back to what you're saying, it's called programming because it's to program your subconscious.
Yeah.
Like, for example, you've been seeing Geico commercials all your whole life.
Yep.
Right? So now you finally have the ability to drive a car and it's time now to get license.
Insurance. Yeah.
Right? The first thing that's going to come into your mind is the Geico commercial. You're going to see the little frog and
Yep.
shit.
Yep.
The little lizard, the Geico, the gecko,
yeah.
the gecko or the Allstate or whatever. So that's all subconsciously programming your mind. So when the time comes, boom, all right, Geico or Allstate.
Right.
The same thing with the MOTV.
Yeah.
Oh, it's just a grain of rice. No, it's just going to be quick. It's not that big of a deal. So when that time actually comes,
Been
boom,
desensitized.
you be desensitized. Oh, it's just a grain of rice. It's not going to hurt. It's just food. Oh, okay. It's going to come into your mind. Just take it. You know?
But you having not the knowing of the consequences
That's it.
of taking that. It's in Revelation 14 chapter.
Yep.
The consequences of taking that is going to be severe.
Yeah. That's why I say wisdom and knowledge will be the stability at our times,
There you go.
especially with our salvation.
Yeah. That's why it's going to catch people off guard because they're not taking heed to the prophets that's out there warning them, all right, of the danger of the MOTV.
That's why they without excuse.
Yeah. That's why it said a distinctive sound. We got to give them that distinctive sound.
Yeah, you got to use words easy to be understood.
That's it.
Make it plain on the page.
That's it, because you don't want to give them mixed messages.
Nah,
That's the last thing you want to do. You know, because their blood will be on your hands.
you gotta make it plain.
That's it.
Yeah.
And so, you know, brother got any.
I got a precept of the Bible pass on, but I got a
Yeah,
precept.
bring it out. You know. Bring it out.
This is Psalms 49, because I know you had mentioned about the
Well, this is why they
the
doing
land.
it. This is why they doing this.
Yep.
This is why they setting everything up, setting shop.
That's it.
This is Psalms
Yeah,
49 and 11. Their inward thoughts is that their houses shall continue forever.
That's it. That's it.
And how?
Yeah.
Through their mischievous device.
That's it.
That's why in Psalms the 2nd chapter, why do the heathen rage and imagine the vain thing?
Right.
Because in their mindset, they gonna rule forever with this technology.
Yeah, and that's why that technology that they got really pushed their pump to the sky.
That's right.
You know, because they, you know, at one time they didn't have it. 100 years ago they didn't have this technology.
Nah.
50 years ago
Nah.
they were just tapping into it.
Yeah, they weren't even the world superpower then. They didn't become the world superpower until World War II. After Britain Woods, the agreement. When the dollar was the world reserve currency.
That's it.
Okay.
Yep.
So they weren't even the true hegemon back then. Now they're the true hegemon, and they have that. So what really came out of Babylon was technology.
That's it.
You know, all the nations, all this technology that we see today, that came out of Babylon. You know,
Because that's what's helped accelerate the New World Order forward, especially in the last 5 years.
oh yeah.
And that's how Babylon became a golden cup of the world.
That's it.
So
And made all the nations drunk.
That's right. And what they drinking off of?
They're drinking that hooch, that colonial hooch, that bad wine.
So what Chief East was talking about all the nations ain't doing well. You know what I'm saying? Like
Yeah,
you see
yeah.
all
You
the nations.
misinformed.
He ran definitely ain't doing it. Like, damn, bro, he ran
You
going
misinformed. You misinformed, brother.
I think you're about a decade late.
Like I
You
said,
gotta update your info.
Man,
right.
he need what you say? He need
Refresh.
yeah, he need to refresh.
Yeah, he ain't been watching.
Nah, he just do what he do.
Yeah, it says, Psalms 49:11, their inward thought is that their houses shall continue forever,
Yeah.
and their dwelling places to all
Yeah,
generations.
that's why they set up these monuments.
Yeah.
You know, that's why they build pyramids. You know, because like in this article I was reading, it said prophecy fulfilled.
Right.
You know, because his idea was great kings was going to come out of this city, like great kings came out of ancient Egypt.
And he became a president.
Yep.
Presidents are mixed
Forefather.
bloodlines.
Yep,
Yeah.
yep.
And Elon Musk, he's small hat.
Oh yeah.
Yep.
Guaranteed.
So how the hell? Because I didn't know nothing about that.
Yep.
I didn't know nothing about Memphis being named this by Andrew Jackson.
Andrew Jackson. Yep.
But here it is. He's pushing that vibration, same vibration.
Yep.
Here it is. All these years later. You know,
He's on the
however
same.
many
He's on the
years.
same
Page.
frequency.
Yeah.
He's on the same
Yeah, and
frequency.
they're all insiders.
Yep.
They've been. He's been when he was brought up as a child. He was introduced
Yep.
to that occultic.
Yeah, he knew the history.
You know,
Maybe
They're
because it
trained
says,
up.
hide me from the secret counsel of the wicked.
Yep.
Because
Yep.
that's what they're pushing.
Yep.
You know, and they're gonna keep pushing. They don't
Oh,
give,
yeah.
they don't give a damn how many lives it takes and how or who doesn't like it or they don't even care if the most I like it.
Oh yeah.
But that's gonna be their demise.
Which shows you they set a monument in which the Most High destroyed ancient Egypt.
Yeah.
You know, so you will model your city, your country.
You destroy ancient Rome.
He destroyed ancient Rome. You know, he destroyed all those ancient kingdoms, Babylon.
Yeah.
You know, the Medio Persia,
Oh.
Greece, Rome. You know, and all the little smaller kingdoms in between. But Esau like, the hell with that. I'm gonna tap into all of them.
Yeah.
See, they didn't do it right. I'm gonna do it right.
Right.
I'm gonna add everything together.
Right.
You
I'm
know?
gonna tell them everything.
Yeah,
I know.
yeah. But he gonna, like a super teacher, but
Yeah.
you just gonna throw everything in there, you know, and take it. Something's gonna hit.
Something gonna work.
You know?
Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
Esau. He just throwing everything in there, a smorgasbord of demons
Yeah.
coming together under Satan. But he's been successful. That's the thing.
Yeah.
The pride of thy heart has deceived
And that's why they're proud.
Yeah.
Because everything's moving forward.
Yeah.
And when the Lord let them tap into that technology, the Urim and the Thummim,
Oh man,
that's
forget
it.
about it.
That was a game changer.
Yeah.
But it's all work. It all work for the sake of prophecy.
Yeah.
Because it had to happen. It had to happen.
Now going back to what you said, when the Lord allowed them to tap into their technology, now they have this AI.
Yeah.
And even the commercial AI that we have is crazy. Like it's only getting better and better.
Yeah.
You know,
The
it's
chat GPT.
it's getting crazier. Like every month it's like a new leap and bound.
Yeah.
But how much more the shit that they got tucked away?
So we ain't
That we don't like.
Are
Like
exposed to.
Palantir,
Yeah.
they got some high level technology
Yeah.
where they can tie anything, get your facial recognition,
Yep.
tie you back to any email you had,
Some
any
Mission
phone number
Impossible
you had.
shit.
Yeah,
See how real it looked, huh?
Yep. Oh, what you had was it Batman? I believe Batman. He had that technology.
oh yeah, on the one with the Joker in it.
Yeah, with the
where
Joker.
you can see through the walls and see.
Well, he
that
had
one.
the big ass computer. He had the big ass
He
computer.
can see everything.
He can see everything.
Yeah.
And tap into any
Yep.
any cell
System.
phone, any system.
Yeah.
You had that other movie, Eagle Eye.
Yeah. Then you had Fast and the Furious, God's Eye.
Yep.
I think it's called God's Eye. Yep.
Samuel had beef for Vendetta.
Yep.
You know, that was 1984.
Uh-huh.
Big Brother's watching.
Oh, the accountant.
Yeah,
Remember the accounting where you had those hackers
Yep.
that are able to tap into everything? So they're showing you that they have that technology. They've been working on that technology.
Yeah.
Well, Eric Snowden, he actually revealed that that's what they were doing, the NSA. It was basically a big data grab. They were taking all the data from the American people and putting it into a system to where they can go and they can tap into all your stuff without any type of warrant or anything, man. You know, they're basically spying after the Patriot Act 2 and all those acts. They were able to spy on all the American people and bring up any data that they want. And now we're coming to a time where, like in the movies where they show you the facial recognition,
Yep.
and they got the drones.
Yep.
You know, you're not gonna be able to hide.
Yeah. Enemy of the State was one of those movies too, with Will Smith.
Yep.
Yep.
That was like one of the first ones.
Yeah.
Yep.
You had some.
Yeah, we're gonna last piece. We're gonna wrap it up.
Okay, kind of. Oh yeah, I have
I
this.
got a piece of it.
Yeah, I got a preset. I just wanted to go because in the scriptures the word Memphis is one time. Oh, you had that?
Yeah, I Jeremiah 46.
Yeah. No, it's a couple different. You can do that one too. That was a good one too
Okay.
because that's north.
Yeah.
Right. That
But
was
in the NLT is Memphis.
in the NLT is Memphis.
Yep.
Yeah, it's the same. It's another word for Memphis.
Yep.
So in the scriptures, Memphis in there under Memphis one time,
Mhm.
but 7 other times under north.
Yep.
Okay.
Yep.
Which that's an ancient way of saying Memphis.
Yep.
Okay, and there's many scripts which shows you that why did America allow this place to be called Memphis? Why would they? Wouldn't this be a new place? The founding fathers didn't they? Weren't they of the Most High? Weren't they of God?
Right.
You know, you know.
Yeah.
Yeah, because it was a new world in their image. There, and Esau, he's not like this great guy that has a lot of culture. He steals from other cultures.
Yep.
Even the other gods.
Yep.
You know.
And the Most High put it in their minds to name this place Memphis.
That's it.
You know, for prophecy's sake.
Had to be fulfilled.
Yep.
Spiritualist wasn't Sodom. Spiritualist Egypt.
Yep. This is Jeremiah 46:19 in the NLT. Pack up. Get ready to leave for exile, you citizens of Egypt. The city of Memphis will be destroyed without a single inhabitant. Yep. And even though ancient Memphis was turned to ruins, you know, it wasn't completely destroyed without inhabitants because they still got some
People still there.
People still there. Yeah. So this prophecy would apply to what? Memphis, Egypt, and America right now.
That's what the Lord says. Spiritually Egypt,
Yep.
spiritually Sodom,
Yep.
Babylon the Great, and many other names. Edom, you know, Mount Seir, many other names, biblical names that apply to America.
Yep.
Prophetic.
That's it.
Okay, so with that, Lord willing, y'all brothers and sisters edified. Once again, we give all honor and glory and power to
Yahweh, Ba'Shem, Yahushai, Ba'Shem, HaKadosh.
Double honor time elders, this is just the open leg. Next time, Shalom.
Shalom.
Ball.
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 Rock,
Rock.
Rock, Akim.